Hi, I'm Kathleen.
And I'm Sean.
And you're listening to the Dead Baby Bear podcast.
Dead Baby Bear.
Ooh.
Long story.
Look at them.
Eugene and Dottie.
We got live action in the background. Can you see them?
We got Naughty Dottie.
Look at them fighting. Oh, they're wrestling. They're play fighting. They love each other.
Yeah,
They're excited for the Dead Baby Bear podcast brought to you by Northern Queen. We did it right off the top.
Holy shit. I can't believe you did it.
We did it.
Yeah, Northern Queen and CHO Podcast Network.
The Comedy Here Often Podcast Network.
And go. See, Jim is so excited. He's like, fuck, that is the first time you guys have ever shut your mouths and started it normally.
Yes, because you know why? Because we start our podcast, like, we start a conversation when everyone gets here, and then we're talking, they're like, we should probably be recording.
Yeah, we basically, like, talk to each other until we're like, oh, this conversation, okay, might as well fucking record it now.
Yeah, we might as well
We've been talking for 15 minutes. Why aren't we recording it?
Yeah, exactly.
All of our conversations should be recorded.
Yeah. Like, we were just talking about taking comedy classes.
Yeah.
And this is my thing with comedy classes. I don't ever go in thinking you're going to come out a stand-up comic. That's the first. This is what you got to tell people. Like, the person that's teaching that course is a comic that is not making enough money on gigs, so he's now teaching comedy. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And it sounds harsh, but that's what it is.
Well,
most people that do teach comedy, that's how they're making their money because they're not getting hired very
Yeah,
much.
like any course or class you take, you have to ask yourself afterwards, did everybody pass?
Yeah, that's the
Because
thing.
if everybody passed,
Yeah,
then
that's
it's not a course.
how do you
or a
grade
class.
in that?
It's
Like,
nothing. Like,
I've never taken any. Did you take Speen's course a little bit?
No, Paul Sveen used to run
Yeah.
He brought me in to do like a little
Oh,
mini thing.
yeah, we've talked about that before.
But it doesn't make sense anyway, like even from the teacher's perspective,
Yeah.
because I think I talked to people for like 10 minutes and then two kids were like, I'm not going to write anything down. Like, I just go up there and do it. And I'm like, oh, right on. Like,
that's what you
cool.
should. That's what I do. Good
like,
for you.
Yeah, they're like, just go up and I don't need to like write or learn to write. I just go up there and do it. And I'm
But
like, oh yeah, because that works in all situations. That's a
but what I
perfect
always
scenario.
say is positive about comedy classes is that you'll meet people who are at the same point in stand-up as you are, and those are the people you need to like go to open mics with, and then you get your little group of friends. And like, I think a lot of people meet at comedy courses, like the Humber College comedy, and it's not cheap. It's like a degree that you spend all this money on.
A degree.
And then they come out thinking that I have a diploma that says I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm like, like okay, gonna.
I can't think of a wall on fire enough for that to hang on.
No.
Let's put that. What are you talking about?
But yeah,
a
how
degree
do you
in comedy.
grade?
Like, hey everybody, like you go to an open mic and you're like, sorry guys, I already have my degree. I'll be going on for 10 minutes. You guys are, like.
How do you grade
why don't
comedy?
you guys go back to school if you want to get off of amateur night? Like do they just automatically get spots on the weekend? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a degree,
Yeah.
comedy. That would be awesome if comedy clubs started booking that way. They're
With
like, sorry,
degrees?
he has a degree in comedy.
Sorry,
like,
you don't have your PhD.
but I've been doing it. I've been doing it for 20 years. And they're
We're
like,
gonna
yeah,
need to see your ticket.
We really do have to have the verification. You're going to have to go to school.
It's just so like odd to
That would
me.
be hilarious if we had to return and
To
take
school?
a comedy course.
Get our
to
journeyman
continue
ticket?
to do stand-up. We're in the back like, this is fucking bullshit.
I've learned this stuff. I learned this on my own.
Who are you to teach this? They're like, Sean, one more outburst. They just treat us like unruly children at this comedy course.
I've always said to people, like, should I take a comedy course? I'm like, take like a fun comedy course that kind of introduces you, that kind of like tells you how to do comedy, and then instead of spending more money on more comedy courses, go to comedy clubs and go on tour and don't make money, but use the money that you were going to pay for your education to pay for going on tour. Because can you imagine like paying like $10,000? I don't even know how much it is, but that's just a number, to get a comedy degree, and then all you get is shitty bar gigs that you only get $50 for. Like, can you imagine like how bad you would feel?
It's just like all the other ones where you're like, I guess I should have looked at the placement rates before I signed up. I should have looked at like, how many people gain full-time employment in comedy after taking this? We're still hovering at 0.4.
Yeah, like I get writing courses and all that stuff. like learning how to write a sketch and stuff, but that's also subjective. Some
Yeah.
sketches are so odd and you're like, this is,
Well, it's like multi-level marketing in a way, right? Where like
Yeah.
they bring in the people who have had success.
yeah,
So they continue to show you the faces who've had success. It's
Absolutely.
like a casino where they're like, the winner's wall.
congratulations.
Wow, look at all
Yeah.
those, look at that 100 winners. Like, you don't even see the millions of people that are like, fucking, I just gave them 10 grand and I went back into...
Well, they gave scholarships to a bunch of really good Toronto comics just so that they would go for free, so it looked like it was a legit...
yeah.
Look at these guys were talented. They came out, but they were already great at what they did. They just gave them free courses.
Yeah, and then you come back and, yeah, I mean, it's not evil, it's business, right?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, look at who's done so great. That's my phone.
Oh, I was like, what the fuck is that?
They're like, look at this. This guy's killing it. Like,
Yeah.
And he took it.
Yeah.
He took the course.
I was never good at school. I took like the only thing I did, like I didn't do university. I did a marketing diploma at NAIT, and I barely squeaked by on that thing. Like I hated school. I would love to go back to school now, knowing that I have ADHD, because I might be able to figure out how to actually do well.
Yeah, for a month.
Yeah, and then I'd be like, this sucks.
This is brutal.
I'm bored.
Now all my attention is focused on this shit.
I don't want to be a veterinarian anymore.
Vet tech. Yeah, I get a lot of people now like, I'm a veterinarian. Like, as I'll talk about veterinarians.
Oh, I
and they're
bet
like-
you get
They're
so
like,
much.
I'm actually a veterinarian, and
But-
it's like, aha! Like, what is this? Gotcha! Like,
Did real estate agents used to do that too when you did that real
yeah,
estate agent
especially
joke?
like up north in Fort McMurray when I used to make fun of realtors. People
Yeah.
were like, "That's fucking ridiculous."
Yeah.
I work for Century 21. I'm Randy. And it's like, I don't fucking care. It's a joke.
It's a
Like,
joke.
that's the thing too, is like, none of this is real. Like, if you break, like nobody, if whether it's you or me, if you're making fun of something, people are like, wow, that's actually inaccurate. And it's like, of course it's fucking inaccurate.
I had somebody
Like,
fact check me on.
it's
Were you
cherry
at that show?
picking, like you're cherry picking and you're
were there.
exaggerating and
Yeah.
you're leaving out huge plot. Like,
Yeah.
we're not explaining it in fucking court.
No.
Like,
We weren't good
don't
enough
worry
to be
about it.
lawyers. We weren't accurate enough to be lawyers. No, I had a show at O'Byrne's on it was like Thanksgiving Sunday, and there was like 4 people there. I don't know if you were there, but Adam was there. And there was a girl sitting right up front, very into the show, very paying attention. And every joke I'd say, she goes, well, no, it's not that way. And I'm like, okay, I know, it's just a joke. And then she kept on like saying, oh, no, that's not. And I was like, stop fact checking my jokes, because you're going to find a lot wrong with them if you continue to fact check this shit. Don't fact check comedy.
Well, I don't know if that's true. You're leaving some stuff out. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm leaving out all the stuff that wouldn't get a laugh.
yeah,
And it would also make my joke seem stupid.
yeah.
Like, that's what's happening right now. Well, vets actually care.
Yeah.
Like, and, making fun of the police. Like, actually, the police, like, shut the fuck up. Like, of
Yeah.
course I know all this, you dummy.
I wish there was a way to detect a sense of humor before they're allowed in the club. Like, I wish they, like, you know how you get your scan for your temperature this whole time? They should have like a sense of humor thermometer.
But everybody has a sense of humor. It's just like,
A good
some
one,
of them
though.
are insane, right? Like,
Yeah.
some people's sense of humor is just like, oh, I'm going to the show tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, my heavens. Ah! There's actually only 3 people I find funny. My ex-husband, Gary, Bob Hope, and my dog. And everybody else is really pushing it. They just have a very narrow sense of humor.
Yeah.
We can find humor in all sorts of things, right?
Yeah, we can find most.
We can
humor.
laugh at lots of stuff.
You did a big, huge, gigantic, enormous show. You were on
Oh,
a
it was
gigantic
massive.
screen.
It was.
It
what
was
is
all
it?
outside. The Great Outdoor
It
Comedy
was funny because
Festival.
people were texting me like, "Oh wow, like you're on this huge show," and I'm like, "I'm telling people where the porta potties are."
You got to do some material though, right?
Yeah, just enough to hang yourself. Like, just enough material. You get to do just enough material to like really like. That guy sucks. Like, but not enough for them to be like, he was good.
Yeah.
Like, so you're just in that weird like nothing to win
Yeah.
range. Where you're like, hey everybody, it's plus 35. Take a buddy to the porta potty. Emergency exits over there. And then there was like an Export A booth,
Yeah.
and I thought like, and then I kind of panicked because I started making fun of Export A in the booth.
Yeah.
I'm like, are we still allowed to do that? You guys can still do that?
Oh no.
Are we? What year is this? Export A over there. What the fuck is? And then I just started like talking about like, I thought we were past that, but I guess there we are. Head on over to 1987. It's right over there if you guys want to hop back into a fucking time machine when Du Maurier was still written on race cars.
Did you ever go to those Export A parties?
No.
So there's like if you worked in the bar industry, they would have Export A would just have these parties. I don't even
Those would be
understand.
some sweet, like,
don't even
tobacco
know
revenue
why,
parties
though.
would
Oh, yeah.
be the
I don't even know
best.
why they had them. Like, I honestly don't know the reason for them. But I remember going to a few, and like
of
literally,
cigarettes.
you walk in and they wouldn't sell cigarettes. They'd give you cigarettes.
Wow.
It was like everything
was
was
this
free.
like recent?
It was probably like 10 or 15 years when I was working at the racetrack.
Oh
we'd
my
go.
God, they
So
give
they
you
invite
cigarettes.
entire.
They
They do
They
have
still
it
have
still.
They still
yeah.
just hand cigarettes to people.
Well, I don't know if they do that now, but like it was like free drink, and you just show up if you worked in the industry. You just show up, and it's just this gigantic party. And like one time, one of the girls I worked with puked all over this guy I was seeing. Like it was like the ridiculous parties. But I just I still don't understand the point of them, because I don't know. Was it so that if you're working at a bar, you're like, hey, with that beer, you should have an Export A. Like, were we supposed to do that after, or?
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
And
so
do cigarettes really even
I'm-
taste different? You're a smoker.
They
Ish.
do a little bit. Like, it's mostly just like people that are poisoning themselves pretending that they're doing it for flavor. Right? It's like it's an addict who's like, actually, I have quite a fucking
got a palate.
I've got a real lung palate on me.
I love a good lung
I like
palate.
a good lung cut. Oh, don't give me those silly DeMauriers. I'm a player's man.
Oh my God.
It's sort of like Losers and Trucks, right? Where they're like, Ford. I should have had a plate with like Calvin urinating on players' cigarettes.
That would be
Back in the
hilarious.
day, like, I'm a DeMaurier man.
Yeah, fuck
That's
you,
my
players.
identity, bro. The red pack. I ain't no blue pack, bitch.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you just decide to identify yourself with something so that you can like pretend you're not just like poisoning yourself with an addiction. But that's what it really is. But I made fun of Export A
Yeah.
for a little while, and then right away after that, I started to panic like on stage, because I'm like,
Now
what am I doing? Like, I can't fucking. It's like they probably
You're
paid.
shitting on a sponsor.
They probably paid $50,000. Like, think about how much more they had to pay than the candy thing. You know, like the fucking all these other like name sponsors
Yeah.
that are around, and it wasn't just like a board. It was like, come to the Export A experience. It was like an Export A trailer.
So what did you do with the Export A experience?
I don't like. They just had girls with. I don't know what
They
they
just
did.
had girls telling you how to smoke.
But
or?
yeah, then they next to it would be like Amazon, or like it'd be like normal, and you're like, I wonder how much Export A had to pay like as a premium.
Yeah.
Like, look, I know we're big tobacco. It's probably not a great look for the field where you're doing a comedy show in,
Yeah.
but we'll pay you double. We'll give you double what BP's gave you.
Was it over here at the Expo Center? Is that where
Yeah.
it was? So was it good? Was it fun? Were the shows good?
I don't know. I did one.
Did
It
you
was,
watch the one you were
yeah,
on?
David Spade was. Yeah, he was really funny.
He's like, you know what? I actually like David Spade. Like, I think he's very like weird and funny. He always has. I don't know. I was like, out of all of them, I was like, that would be a really good one to see, because I've never seen him do stand up before, and
Yeah.
he's not going to be like a Chris Kattan. But
And it's just like I'm fascinated by the money.
this when
Where,
you
like,
told, let's talk.
you know.
Can you talk about that?
Well, I think
Fuck
so,
it, who
because I'm
cares?
just guessing anyway. But you know, based on what I kind of have been told, it's like every you know, he get like 75,000 to do an hour, right?
I want to puke.
So then you're like, okay, I was getting 75,000 to do it. So like anytime David Spade like scratches his kneecap,
Yeah.
he made $1,000. Like
Oh my God.
every time, you know, like $500 to do this, you know, like just stop and go like that. $800 to scratch your beard.
It just
You know?
infuriates.
And it's
I just
fun-
get
like,
so annoyed.
I don't get
though.
mad. I
do.
think it's awesome. But I just love watching people like just kind of like yawn and make $1,000.
I think it would be awesome if like there were some Canadians that got that much money. We still get the same money they got in the 90s. Actually, we get less because there's less shows.
Yeah, the demand went
The
down.
money has not
The
changed.
supply quadrupled and the demand decreased.
Yeah, like exactly.
What happened to comedy? Well, that's what happened to comedy. It's
And
more
even-
fun than working at the bank,
Even when
and
the
nobody
demand-
wants to pay for it.
Even when the demand increases, they still don't do extra shows. Like
Uh,
Calgary Yak Yaks, I only did 2 shows that weekend, and they're like, "Well, we can't get the crowds." I'm like, "Cause the crowds don't know you guys do any other shows. Like, they don't know you
Yeah.
guys have late shows and stuff."
Well, different clubs do different things.
Yeah.
Like some clubs will be like, well, we're just open,
yeah,
and whoever comes. And then other clubs are like, we need to see
this many
numbers on a
people.
sheet. So
Yeah,
if we sell out Saturday early,
yeah.
then we'll consider doing a Saturday late.
Yeah.
But we will not consider doing a Saturday late until that Saturday early is sold out.
I just like, I don't know. I'm tired of like blaming the industry, and I'm gonna start blaming the fans for not like giving us
Blaming the
any props out here. Like, no, but that's the thing is like,
blame the fucking
but we don't get
people.
but we don't get more money because the clubs can always say, well, you're not a draw. Nobody comes to see you.
Yeah, but like if you are on Spotify
Yeah.
and you're like listening to your favorite artist,
Yeah.
do you ever like scroll down and across and see like what other artists, what unknown people should I be listening to?
I do,
Like,
but
of
I'm
course- I
weird.
don't.
Well,
Nobody
some people-
fucking does. They're like, I'm listening to Radiohead. I don't want to know that Travis fucking in his basement sounds like them. I don't care. I'm listening to Radiohead, and then I'll listen to fucking Tool, and then I'll listen to Tom Waits. I almost never like go scroll down and see like who's like these guys. Who might I like? I don't fucking care.
Really? Ever? Not
So,
once?
No, so most people are like that. Most people are like, I like Bill Burr. Like,
Yeah.
well, there's somebody who's close to Bill Burr who lives in Calgary. Like, I
They
don't
don't care.
fucking care.
Yeah.
You think I got time to listen to 900 comedians?
Yeah.
I'll just follow what Bill Burr does, and then I'll die in my bed.
We just don't have like nobody. Yeah, we just don't have what America like in America. Like, you can like go and live in LA for 2 years, and then you're doing auditions for TV, and then you, like, I know people that started comedy down there when I was there are like famous now, and I'm just
Yeah,
like,
that's
it's like
weird, eh?
that's the difference between America and Canada. The possibility is there for more than just two people, right? Like in Canada, it's just like, no, there's no way I'm getting famous here. Like, it happens to one person every 5 years, maybe.
Yeah.
But like in America, it's like, no, like if you put in a little bit of effort, you can become relatively famous. I'm not saying they're all making billions and millions of dollars, but they're doing well, and they've got the same amount of experience as us or other. So it's just
Maybe
like, it's just frustrating when Americans come up and they're like, oh, I'm making $95,000 to be here in this fucking shit town. Did any of them dump shit on Edmonton?
No, I don't think so, because they're like, maybe it's like a post-COVID thing where they're like actually grateful to be able to earn
Yeah,
that kind of dough
probably.
again.
Yeah.
And also they know that like you can't really come to the prairies and shit all over it, because this is one of the only places on earth you can come and make exactly what you say.
Yeah.
Like your management says, I'm $75,000
And that's
or
how much
I'm
you're getting.
40 plus 100 guarantees on
Yeah.
top of it, depending on ticket sales or whatever.
So David Spade is basically a Lexus that I got to drive. His weekend, he got a Lexus. Oh my God, I hate life. I just get so
Yeah.
sad. Like, it's just so
Gets so sad.
frustrating. Like, I mean, I did a whole weekend of shows, and I did not make that. I had a great time, and the shows were fun, and I was
Yeah.
happy with what I made. But it's just like frustrating when I get a text telling me that, oh, this person made $30,000 and did 20 minutes and wasn't and was like kind of all over the place and wasn't even that great. Like, 'cause Americans always treat Canada like summer camp or like a place to fuck around.
Well, but the thing is, like, because all we do is grind for 300.
Yeah.
Like, we'll go somewhere like, oh fuck, I'm getting 300. I better bring it.
Yeah.
And you know, they're living on a different planet. Like,
Yeah.
so when we hear that they are coming to Canada and making 30,000 for a performance, we're like,
Wait, is it
You better
Canadian or
bounce.
American?
like American.
They're
like,
making American dollars
Well,
even.
no, I don't even know. I
Better
don't know.
not be. It better at least be Canadian dollars.
So yeah, when they come here, like, we expect them to bounce off the walls for that money, but they're
Yeah.
just doing their set like they would, like you would at the Grindstone. Like,
Yeah.
they're just gonna do their set.
Yeah.
The money to them is like, it's all, you know, it's all relative.
Basically, I'm just
They've
really
made that
fucking
kind
jealous.
of money. They've made that money for
Jealous.
so long that they don't look. They look at 70 grand or 50 grand or 30 grand the same way that we look at 1,500 or 750.
Yeah.
You know, they're that rich.
That's-
right? So
yeah.
to them, it's not really that much money. If you're David Spade and
Yeah,
and
he's probably like, I made a
you're
million.
like, oh,
to
I
make
got
a
to get
movie."
this siding done on my third property. Fuck. God damn it. And the guy said it's 50 grand, or I got to fly there and find a new guy.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Ah, well, I'll throw the Edmonton money and get the siding. Like, they're
Yeah,
doing the same
you're
shit.
right.
Like, oh, I got to get rotors done on my Lexus. That's 8 grand. Like, fuck.
I'll go fart in Canada, I guess.
I'll go just throw some shit together and do a show in a field in Alberta.
How was it though? Was it really spaced out? Like, was it odd?
Yeah, it was like, you know, everybody had their own table. They could bring their own chairs. They
Yeah.
could have fun, relax. And yeah, it was.
But were people like paying attention or?
Once it got darker, they did.
Yeah. I feel like if you're so spaced out, it's hard to like. It seems more like with music that's okay because like you can kind of chat with your friends during music and like if you're really into it you get up
But
and
yeah,
dance.
I wouldn't say they were a
nobody was
bad
chatting.
audience. Like, it was just one of the, like, the laughter is, you know, there's always chatting, of course.
Yeah.
There's too many people for there not to be chatting.
Yeah.
So there's always chatting. People are mostly paying attention, but their laughter just like goes into the clouds.
Yeah.
So you don't really hear.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like anybody crushed
Yeah.
because there was just, you know, 4,000 people with the laughs just going into the clouds.
Yeah.
So just like, but yeah, it was okay.
I mean, at least they're trying to do something, right? Like, at least they're trying to, like, do something different.
And they're used to music, so the producers were like, you know, they're so used to just doing music
Yeah.
shows, not comedy, that they thought it was going to be super complicated, but it never is. It's like,
No.
we got to do sound checks at 4. Like,
Yeah.
no, you don't.
No, you don't.
Like, it's just,
You do not.
just hum, and then just turn it to 8, and then you're done. That's it.
I
It's
love
one.
That's my favorite whenever you're at, like, these places. Okay, we're going to pick you up for a sound check at 5 p.m. I'm like,
What?
why? Like,
how loud can you get?
like-
Well, in an emergency, or
yeah, they're like, what's the loudest point of your act? I'm like, I don't know.
Sometimes I go, ah! Like, just fucking scream and writhe. Oh, I close on, gaga!
Gaga.
And they're like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, really be careful, because sometimes I'll just let out a ah! No, I don't do that, but yeah, it's weird when you do sound checks. I had to get my brakes. I got to get my brakes done.
Oh, yeah.
That's not fun.
Were they making sounds? Is that how you knew?
I used to do them myself. Like, I used to always do my own brakes.
Okay.
But then it, like, takes 9 hours for
Yeah.
a dummy to do it. Like, I'm like, what's wrong with these calipers? I can't push them in right. I'm always doing shit wrong, and then
I put these in backwards.
No, seriously, I'll put the pads in all fucked up, and then I'll leave the house, and just the first time I touch the brakes, I just hear, and like, okay, back to the wood shop.
Back to the wood
So
shop.
this time I'm like, fuck it, I'm taking him in. I'm gonna David Spade this, and I'm gonna big money this.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I had to take it in, but it was funny because I was like, well, how much is it? And she's like, okay, it looks like it'll be, because we always leave it until it's in the rotors, like every
Absolutely.
time.
Me
We
too.
never-
Absolutely.
Like, you know, when people hear like,
I'm taking
like,
them in right
they're
now.
Like, oh, why?
Yeah.
Like, for us, it's like, it's got to be a grinder. It's got to be a grinder for us to be concerned.
Us too.
It has to be grinding before
Us
we
too.
don't even pay attention until it's grinding.
No, me neither.
I
I've
don't-
had a few cars grind out.
We've never had a conversation about like, oh, that's a bit of a squeal. That's got a squeal. It's always like, just leave it until, and then, oh fuck, we got to do something. And then 2 weeks later, we'll take it in. So then, yeah, I took it in. Like, they had to check the rotors first.
Yeah.
They're like, well, they seem okay. Like, we'd like to do them. And I'm like, yeah, well, there's a lot of things I'd like.
Yeah. But what do I have
But
to
what
do?
do I? And they're like, yeah, you just do the pads. And then I did the mid one because I always think like if you get the cheapest brake pads and your family dies in an accident, it's like you'll think about it forever.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like they didn't. Looks like they pressed their brakes.
And it didn't work.
The Napa ones, I've never seen anybody die with the Napa pads. But we took a look at this Ford Edge, and somebody threw on these $85 ones that are just made of ham.
Ham pads.
Ham pads. They just ground right off like a fucking hot dog. But yeah, so I got the mid ones. But then it was funny because as I was leaving, I was like, well, when can I get it in? And they're like, oh, not till next week. And I'm like, oh, shoot. Like, I'd like to get it done like tomorrow. And she's like, oh, well. And then like the mechanic, there's a mechanic there and her. And then they're like, oh, you know what? Bring it in tomorrow. We can just get Bill to do it.
Yeah.
And then they point at this guy who's like sitting on a fucking bucket eating soup with his hands. Like, he is the dumbest person. He's wearing coveralls. He's clearly a janitor. Like, he's not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, but so he's just sitting there and he looks up like, what? Like, like,
Me work now?
and I was like, yeah, we'll get him to do it. What's his rate? And then they were like, they like laughed, and I'm like, no, seriously, are you telling me that it's like $135 an hour for anybody here? Like, anybody can do it. I'm paying $135 for labor an hour, and you could just fucking bring a guy's kid in to do it.
Yeah.
Like, what the
That's
fuck are you talking? It should be just like,
Mechanics are like vets, though.
oh, yeah, they'll be like, oh, it's just brakes on an edge.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it, get Bill to do it. But he's literally, there's a mop next to him, and he's hunched over, sitting on a bucket, eating soup slowly. At 4 p.m. Like, weird time for a soup break.
Did you get your brakes done?
They're going to do it tomorrow.
How much do they cost?
It'll be $295.
Oh, I was expecting
including labor.
thousands. That's good.
No, it's $295. So yeah, because I'm like, well, I could do it myself and save 100 and
No, it's not
whatever,
worth
and then
it.
I'm like, fuck it, no, I'll
No.
do it wrong. Somebody dies,
Yeah.
you know, like, well, and then they do like some investigation, and they're like, I think you murdered your wife.
Yeah.
You're like, you think I murdered my wife? How do you? What's the murder weapon? These brake pads. The way that these brake pads were put on indicates that you wanted your family dead.
This is exactly.
Like, well, actually,
You put them on and they sent them camping.
it's like, actually, that was my best effort. But you're right. It does look like a murder weapon. Yeah.
with the
So
first
that'll get
time
done.
Adam ever came on the road with me, he had this like I can't remember what kind of car it was, just like a little like Pontiac something. And we went to the Sunshine Coast, and the whole way there, the car was fine and everything. And then when we were coming back, he had to take me from the ferry terminal to the airport because I had to go somewhere else. And we get to like into Vancouver, and his brakes just start to grind. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to miss my plane. Like, what the fuck? And he just fucking kept driving. People were staring at us. Like, he took me to the closest SkyTrain station he could. And then he drove home with them. And like those, so he could never drive that car again. And then one day he was like staying at my place, and his landlord calls him. He goes, hey, so just your car got destroyed. Some drunk driver like slid on some ice and like plowed into 4 cars, and then he got like all this money, and we were like, yes. And then did we buy a new car? No, I think we got really drunk a couple times. Like we did not spend that money wisely. But Adam got to come on the road twice now, and it's nice. It's like having a personal assistant.
It is. It's sort of like having a guy, like like a security guy.
People thought he was my security a little
cool.
bit.
It looks like an entourage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this is my entourage,
Yeah.
my husband, my future husband.
We went out like every night we went to the Canadian Brew House next door, and there was one night all the comics came out, and at the Canadian Brew House there is this like bell. If you ring it, it means you're buying a round for the whole bar.
Yeah.
So people rang it twice, like 2 times people bought a round for the
And you're
entire
like,
bar.
where's my fucking drink?
It's just a shot. It was like, first was like a shot of Fireball or something, but like that's like $500. Like people are crazy. But so we were doing these shots, and then there's this comic. If he gets mad at me for telling the story, I don't care. It's fucking hilarious. So so his name's Denim, and he like lives up in Prince George, and he was there drinking with us, and he had been drinking at the show, and then he came over and he was drinking schooners of Guinness. Like schooners, not a pint. Like a fucking, and he had like 3 schooners
of Guinness.
Yeah, and then
That's like 9 Subway sandwiches.
it was. I'm like, I couldn't believe that. But then the second bell rang, and it was like, and they bought Kraken rum, and they put the shots down. I'm like, what is that? She goes, Kraken. I was like, no, not me, not doing that one, because that's gonna be bad news. And so I gave it to Adam, and then so Denim does a shot, and then he just like disappeared. And then the server comes up to us. She goes, hey, your friend just barfed all over the bathroom. And I was like, oh, we don't really know him that well. But his girlfriend was there. She was really nice. And like, so he felt, he was so embarrassed. And but I'm like, it happens to all of us. Mm-hmm. We all do something crazy like that. I'm like, you just shouldn't have taken that rum shot. Like, that's what pushed you over the edge.
Sometimes you make a mistake, and it's on a podcast.
And so then Adam came up with a funny joke, because his girlfriend she paid the whole fucking bill. Like, she did not have to do that. Like, I don't know why she did that, but we were very grateful.
His boyfriend yacked all over the place.
Yeah, I felt,
and
I mean, you always feel bad when you make a mess at a bar. Like, it's embarrassing. And people are like, oh, you puked at the bar, you should know better. I'm like, Anyway, but then Adam, the next day, he comes up with this joke. He's like, how do you get vomit out of Denim? 3 pints of Guinness and a shot of rum. That's not my joke. That is Adam. Adam wrote that joke.
That is pretty good.
But
He could open for you.
No, please don't People always try to get
please don't.
boyfriends into comedy, and I'm like,
it is pretty nice of him to watch all the shows.
He's
my
biggest fan.
A lot of people would be like, okay, that'll do.
Well, also it's still a novelty, because he hasn't been able to come on the road ever, and now he's getting to finally. And I'm sure he's going to get sick of watching me eventually, but he's always good about it. And then Calgary, they treated him like a king. Like, they kept on bringing him like, oops, I made a Jager bomb. Oops. Like, they got, the bartender got Adam so drunk on Friday at Calgary. Like, it's fun. Yeah. But then you feel that now you know what it's like on the way home, though, because our drive home was 11 hours from Smithers.
Hello, darkness, my old
And it was
friend.
just like, we were both in a bad mood because we had been drinking hard for 3 days, and now we had to drive 11 hours, and like, I wanted to sleep and he wanted to sleep, and like, I was like, you need to drive more, and he goes, I did drive more. Like, it was just, but that's like I always find the drive home.
I like how you guys work, because it's like the angel and the devil on the shoulder, but they're like, even the angel's kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, even the angel's like, we should get hammered.
Yeah.
And the devil's like, what's wrong with that pussy? Why would we only drink one night?
Yeah.
Let's stay drunk.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, devil, relax. We'll go somewhere in between.
It was fun but it's more expensive too, because then you're like double the price in bills, and like, You don't get free drinks everywhere. But the brewery we went to, this
Not
brewery,
yet.
what is it? How do you spell it? Bulkley
Valley
Brewery.
Brewery.
Really fucking good beer and super fun show. The guy that owned it was super fun. Like, yeah, he gave me this and like this cool
that's
hat.
nice.
He was like, I was gonna buy it because I'm like, I just like all this stuff. This shirt's really nice. And then he's like, no, just take it. I'm like, no.
You do get a lot of free
But
shit.
I was like, but I wanted to pay for it. He goes, no, just take it. I was like, okay, I guess. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's when one of your gifts is you're like, no, I sincerely will pay for it. And
Yeah.
then you will be like, okay, we've had this conversation, now it's free.
I just can't argue. I hate that argument. Even when I'm
I know, yeah.
like, even as a server, or I'll just be like, you pay now, you pay next. I hate that argument. I hate sitting there, or if I'm in a room and people are
Or
like,
you should
no,
make,
I'll
servers
pay.
should make that decision. That should be part of their job.
That would be fun.
Where the server just comes over, you pay.
Yeah.
Or like, who should pay? And they're, you pay.
Yeah.
And then-
They've watched the date and they're like,
Yeah,
the chick should pay.
yeah,
Yeah.
the girl should pay. The girl, or if it's like a group of 9 people, then
Yeah.
she just goes dee 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 dee, boom, you. And he's like, I didn't even offer. I wasn't even one of the people that was saying I would like to pay.
I just came for the free drinks.
That's why I picked you, you fucking loser.
You cheap asshole.
You cheap cocksucker. It should be server's choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Or if they're arguing, not because I don't like that where it could be just somebody who can't afford to do it. When it's people like, no, me, no, you paid last time, no, you paid and I just feel like I always am like, okay, you pay this time, you pay next time. I'm like, shut the fuck up and pay.
But I do.
That fake, and when I go out for lunch with somebody and they're like they'll take the bill. I'm like, oh, you don't have to do that, and they're like, no, I want to, and then I'll be like, okay. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and argue for 10 minutes with you.
Yeah.
I'm not like I don't think that people think that that's like I think a polite thing to do, but it's obnoxious. Like if
Yeah.
somebody offers to do it,
Yeah,
and
just do it.
yeah,
Right? It's like if you're talking about it, then you don't want to.
yeah, just don't do it all the time and
Yeah.
expect people to do it for you. But yeah, no, I always find it like so annoying when people argue over who's gonna pay. Like just accept
Yeah,
the
and
generosity.
why can't we just split everything?
Yeah, that too.
That's what we do in every other thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't act like my buddy doesn't pay for a bit of my mortgage if he sleeps over.
Yeah.
Like,
You
like,
should.
"Oh, come
No.
on. Like
That'd be hilarious. You should start charging for sleepovers. So this is 7% of the
yeah,
mortgage.
it's $1,200 a month. We do bi-weekly, $600. I don't expect you to cover our insurance portion or interest portion, but I would like you to make a $200 donation to the principal on this fucking home.
That's
'cause you were here
hilarious.
3 nights. Oh no, you don't. I don't. You know, like I don't know. It's the only time we split anything.
Comics
Everything
would be
else, like you
fucked.
buy your own lawnmower, your own rake,
Yeah,
and then you go to a restaurant and everybody's like, "What the fuck happens here?
yeah. We don't know what to do.
Do I pay for you?"
Yeah, what else do you feel about that? Like, I always feel like I hate people that like I had this. Like, sometimes I'm just like, just split it 3 ways, and you should have had more. That's all I'm trying to like. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like a weird thing when you go out with people. It's like,
The only one I hate is when you order like an appetizer,
Yeah.
and then you're like, "Hey, does everybody like this thing?" And they're all like, "Oh yeah, I like that thing," and you're like, "All right, let's get that thing." And then it comes, and
Yeah.
then you eat it, and nobody else does. And you're like, "Well, that's $23 sitting right there, and I guarantee you that's on me."
Yeah.
There's no way that I can be like, "So we're splitting those poppers that I ate all of, correct?" Those jalapeno poppers are coming out of all of our pockets, right? Well, you ate all of them, you fat fuck. You didn't even give me a chance. Yeah, that's the one I hate. Is the what do we do with appetizers? I'm like, entrees are easy. It's
Yeah.
like I had veal, you had the other thing. Why would I?
I feel like with
But the
appetizers,
appetizers,
it's like,
I don't know.
if someone says, do you want to split it, and you don't, just say, no, I don't want one, and then you don't have to pay. But if you're like, yeah, let's get it, and then you don't eat it, that's annoying.
Yeah, a lot of times they'll say I might have a couple, right? And then you're like, well,
And
what
then
does
they
that
don't.
mean? What's our contract now?
Yeah, is it couple two?
I offered to pay. Like I didn't say I'd pay for. I was like, what? You want to split some nachos? Yeah,
Yeah.
I might have a nibble on that.
Yeah.
Well, where are we now?
Yeah.
I need something on paper. Are you gonna nibble at it? And then there's people that are like, well, I'll see how it is, right? That's what they're doing. Like,
See how it
if
is.
it's good, then they'll eat half of it and then pay for half of it. But if they take a nibble and they don't like it, then you lose.
How many
right?
times do you go to a restaurant though and you don't like what you ordered? That doesn't happen often, does it?
Just with assholes, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess.
Just
Yeah, I
with
guess you're
assholes.
right.
Assholes, like people that are just sad in their life.
Yeah.
Or if you're taking risks.
Yeah. If you're taking
Yeah, if
risks.
you're a risk taker.
I did that
That's on you.
once. I was just by myself and I went to this Vietnamese restaurant in Toronto and I just was like, I'm gonna order this. And then I went to order it and she's like, really? And I should have been like, okay, no, I'll just have some pho. But because like she looked at me like, okay, white girl, you idiot, like you dumb white girl, and I got it, and it was not for me. It was like weird and like head cheesy. Like I don't know. I learned my lesson there. But yeah, that's happened to me before, where they like look at you.
Yeah,
Do you
that's
remember?
why it's nice because when you go to a restaurant where that's like Asian people owned or like Indian owned, you can't say like what would you recommend, right? Because they are like probably into some really hot stuff.
Oh yes,
They're so
especially
used to hot stuff.
What would you recommend for a weak white woman? That's what you have to ask. Like, and they'll be like, butter chicken, you bitch, you.
Yeah. What would you
shitty
feed? What would you feed one of your babies?
Yeah, they probably feed their baby something spicier than they would feed a white woman.
That's true. What do you feed your babies like after milk and formula?
My mom used to be
as soon
like,
as they get out of formula, what are they eating? I'll have that, thank you.
She used to be everything would be spicy. It'd be guacamole. She'd go, this is spicy guacamole.
Ooh, this has a bit of this has a real kick.
Pepper in
this
it.
has a kick too.
This
has cracked black pepper in it. I just got a piece of I just got a piece of cracked black pepper stuck to my tongue. Oh man, yeah. When somebody gets like a piece of pepper and they're like, "Oh boy," and you're like, "Well, I don't know if you're gonna like the rest of that."
Do you remember when we were at Funny Fest and we went to that You and Me restaurant, that Chinese restaurant in downtown
that place
Calgary?
Was awesome. They
and
just
we
served
had like
a ton of food.
No,
right?
but it's because we were dumb and we kept like there was like probably like what 20 of us and we all around one of those big round tables and everybody was ordering shit, which was stupid. We all should have just ordered as a group, but they didn't even say anything to us, and they should have been like, guys, I think you have enough fried rice. Like, and they kept, it was like literally like a parade of food, just constant food coming out. And we were sitting there, just everybody went home with 2 full takeout bags. Like, we ordered so much fucking food, and no one was like, slow down, you guys.
Yeah, for some people, well, it depends on, it always, in a situation like that, it always depends on who your server is. Are they in ownership?
Oh yeah, the owners would probably be like, "No, keep ordering."
So that's who we had. We had an owner / server.
Yeah.
And they were like, "This is fucking sweet.
Let's keep them going."
If it was just a server, she would have been like, "Guys, settle down. Like, you don't need to clog your order. You don't need stints.
I do
you don't
that.
need emergency stints tonight."
I hope it's not offensive, but I would never be offended if a waitress is like, "Are you sure?" Because like that happens at the restaurant I work at all the time because people sometimes think they buy their tacos individually or something. And this one guy once ordered like 4 tacos and I thought he was ordering 4 orders. So he's by himself. I'm like, you want 4? And he's like, yeah, 4. I'm like, okay. And then I ordered it. And then I order it for him and it comes out and he goes, what? 20 tacos? No. I'm like, no, it's like 4 per order. It says very clearly on the fucking board.
Yeah, usually you can tell by the money it is, right?
Yeah.
Usually the money is the giveaway. Where
$15.
it's like $68.50, sir. And he's like, but that's a lot for one human to eat. Like, how much was his order?
Well, our tacos are like $15 for 4. And he ordered 4 orders of 4.
And so it was $60.
16. Yeah, oh yeah.
So it was, so
but
he
no,
wasn't
he took
tipped
it
off to 60? Like,
no,
60
like
bucks,
when they all came, he was like, that's not what I meant. And then like, that's when the restaurant eats that, unfortunately. But like, yeah, no. Oh God, I fucking hate. So my restaurant, we do not mix and match our tacos. And that offends the shit out of some people. Like I've had people leave. You don't mix and match? I have to get 4 of the same kind? I'm like, yeah. Like, why don't you mix and match? I'm like, because then it would take forever for the kitchen to get your fucking tacos out, and you'd complain that the service was slow.
And they're like, well, I just don't agree with there should be some taco diversity. Where's the diversity in this tacos? That I went to this taco place, and I had 4 white straight tacos. That was it. That's all they had.
There's no diversity on this taco plate.
4 white straight tacos right in your mouth.
Middle-aged men are the ones that freak out the most about it.
Yeah.
They hate being told that they can't have whatever they want.
But I did last year.
Yeah.
They usually say that.
Oh
right?
yeah,
but
and I'm
they
like,
did last time.
No, we'd never have.
No, last time.
Like we opened 10 years ago. I think they did it for the first year, and they're like, no, this is not working.
Last time I was here, they did. That's always their go-to.
Yeah, always their go-to.
Open another till at McDonald's. Always the same thing. Open another till. Shut the fuck up.
I think the people that say shit like that, though, they've never worked in the service industry, because then they would know, like, no, you have to have a whole new till, you have to count a whole new float, shut the fuck up and wait.
Yeah, so basically what happened is people were like, why don't they fucking open another till? And then we were like, because you need a human on the thing. The robot needs a human.
Yeah.
And they're like, I can't wait till the robot doesn't need a human.
And now
here we are.
Now we have those
where
little
the robots
order
don't
things.
need the humans anymore. The till does it all by itself.
Yeah.
You press the buttons. You're the till. Congratulations. Welcome to the team. I like to go to the real person, but they don't even like. They've really phased that out.
I don't like it. I love the self checkout at the grocery store. I love the self order at McDonald's.
No,
yeah.
I don't like it.
Why?
I just like I don't know.
But
Let's just
out of
you do it.
Out of everybody though, like I would think, because like I feel like it's, if you have anxiety and stuff, that this seems great. You don't have to talk to some weird person.
Yeah, but there's a lot of buttons.
It's fun.
Yeah, but it's like burger. Yeah, burger. And then meal. Yeah, meal. Pop, what kind of pop? Holy fuck. I mean, whatever. You know? Like if I'm talking to a human, then I'll be like, I don't know. And then they're like, Coke? Like, yeah, Coke. And
It's
I'm
also
like,
never been easier to customize your stuff too now, which
yeah, but
they
what
probably
do I-
hate more too.
Oh my God, can you imagine going there and like fucking moving pickles off with your fingers?
No, but
You're like swiping pickles off, swiping onions off, swiping tomatoes. I don't want to live in that world. Where I'm like swiping my own sandwich. Yes, cheese, fucking meat.
this is the future though. This is what Back to the Future told us. They always have those little, like in the kitchen.
This is Back to
the Future Part 2.
Did they get anything right? Did
when
Back
they
to the Future
order,
get anything right?
when they're ordering, they're like hitting all these buttons and ordering food, and it comes out of the ceiling. Like I mean, they're still far ahead of us, but I think that they are
We'll
on.
catch up.
They're more accurate than the Jetsons.
You're
Like
right.
the Jetsons had
don't
us
have
like
a-
being
yeah.
sucked up tubes and like
They had robot maids.
yeah, and
Yeah,
like
they had their robot maids.
and
That was
pill
really all they
food.
had, is a robot maid flying everywhere.
yeah.
They're floating off in their dumb little ships, and their maid service is done by a robot for some reason. Why wouldn't you just hire a human to do it? What is the cost of repairing a janitor robot?
Probably nothing.
Huge.
Huge.
Are you kidding? Like if that thing just was just cleaning a toilet and then stopped, you'd be like, fuck. How much is this gonna cost?
Now I have to wipe my own ass.
How much is this gonna cost? You'd be way cheaper to just bring in a normal human janitor. Eugene.
Eugene, you're ruining everything.
But we did get our bike back
Oh, I saw that.
from
And
the
Kate,
thieves.
I volunteered my brother without even like asking him to help you fix it. But he's going on vacation for a week or two.
Oh, that's fine. I
But
just
did
took
you get
him
it
to Warner's
fixed?
Way. Yeah.
Cause I saw that Jessica said it might be $200 to fix what did they do? Did they
Yeah,
take
well,
parts off?
Yeah, they're so fucking like these. I mean, it's meth head bike mechanics,
Yeah.
right? So they get frustrated quite easily with things that don't work because they're
Yeah.
on meth. So they're like, you could tell everything. Like my son's like, oh, the pedal came off, and I'm like, oh, I'll put the pedal back in, and then I'm like, wait a minute, everything's cross-threaded. There is no metal
Oh.
to screw it into anymore.
Yeah.
There's nothing here. What were these guys fucking doing? So they changed the tires, they changed the headset, they changed everything.
And so did you just walk into their backyard, look at the serial number, and take it?
Well, they were like cracked. I think they were cracked out.
Yeah. Did
So
you
I
call
was-
the police about
No.
it? Why
No.
not? Report
I
the
don't-
fucking house.
No, I don't need that. I don't need the cops to.
You can call Crime Stoppers. They don't need your
They love telling
identity.
you. Cops love being like, oh, we got more important things going on.
Yeah, I know.
So they take your information that's sketchy. You're like, what color green was that Norco? So you're like piecing it together, and they're like, well, we'll see. We've got a lot of serious crimes
Yeah.
going on down at the office. And you're like, sure you do.
Well, I didn't report my marijuana plant being stolen, even though I wanted to.
Yeah, that would have been a tough one.
Why? But it's not illegal.
Or just look for it on Facebook Marketplace.
I'm
Keep your eyes peeled on Facebook Marketplace.
more mad that they stole the clay pot that it was in, because that
You're
wasn't
right.
cheap.
The pots are always the more expensive
This fucking
thing.
plant I don't care about, but yeah.
Why couldn't they just rip it out of the
Yeah,
fucking
rip
pot?
it out of the pot, you dumb fucking crackhead.
But yeah, so we got,
I have no empathy anymore.
but it was
It's
funny
gone.
because those, it's nice when somebody commits a crime and you live in a
Yeah.
community small enough where everybody knows who did
Yeah,
it.
that's crazy.
Yeah, like as soon as we were like, our bike was stolen.
They were
people
like, "Go check this
oh,
house."
It's Mitch.
It's Mitch.
It's Mitch and Dale.
It's Mitch,
Mitch and Dale. They live by the Denny's. Yeah, it is Mitch and Dale.
So you
So
went
then I just
over.
started driving by Mitch and Dale's.
Yeah.
A couple times a day.
Yeah.
And then on day 3 of
Like you had a crush
the
on them or
operation,
something.
and they were like, "Who's that guy?" But yeah, I just entered like Columbo. Like I just tried. I always try to go when you're in a potential confrontation to like be the dummy who's positive.
Yeah.
So I just walked in like, "Hey, that's my bike."
Oh, really?
Yeah, like that's my bike.
And what'd they say?
They're like, "Oh, I don't know about that." And I'm like, "Yeah, thanks for taking such good care of my bike." I know. I basically like made sure that I just like put them in a position where they were like, maybe this guy's so dumb he doesn't know we stole it.
So now we
So I was
got off.
like, you guys took real good care of my girl. Where'd you find her? Down by the beach? She's always looking for snails. But yeah, so I just kind of was like, I'm just, that's my bike. And then at one point they were like, well, call the police. Like they didn't want to give me the bike.
Yeah.
They were like, well, you'll have to call the police. And that's when for some reason I was like, I'm not the kind of person who calls the police. I'm the kind of person who lights your tent on fire.
Oh, fuck yeah,
'Cause they had a
Sean.
tent in their backyard.
Sean,
And
you're
they were like-
badass.
and then they were like, what the fuck?
This guy's fucking crazy.
And then I'm like, what am I doing? I don't know if these guys are armed. They're
Yeah,
stronger
yeah.
than me. The only thing I knew was that crackheads don't, it's not like crackheads.
They're not going to fight for it.
People, if you've never smoked crack, you think that when you're on crack, you're like, is that guy here for his bike? And then you just immediately start fighting.
Yeah.
But usually what happens is you just keep sitting in your chair and you think, no way this is happening.
Yeah.
So that's what these guys were like, no way. Like, is this
That's
this for real?
hilarious.
Some fucking guys in our yard
That's fucking...
grabbing his Norco?
Can you be like the new superhero of Fort Saskatchewan? Just go find everyone's stolen bikes? Just go to Dale and whatever his face
It would
is?
only work once. Like the next guy would be like, I've heard about you, and then pop. I heard about you, and then pop me right in the face. And then I'd be like, okay, I gotta go.
Did you feel like a man though after you did that? Like I was like,
Well, no, I was
honestly,
just like, these losers.
yeah.
What are these things?
But were you proud of
You guys
yourself
think,
that you did it?
I was like, why did I do it? I guess I was like, what?
Shut up! You were a little proud of yourself that you got
I
away.
was proud that I got the bike. I'm
Yeah.
like, I got the fucking bike
And
back.
how excited was your kid when he saw it?
I'm not excited because it looked like hell. He's like, what have they done to the poor gal? Everything's all fucking backwards and loose, and the brakes are all like they were in the middle of a real
Taking it apart.
crackhead mechanic session on this thing. They had taken a lot of shit off of it and put new parts on, and some of the parts
Why?
were garbage, and some of them were better than what we had. Like it didn't make sense. None of everything they did added up to meth addiction.
Yeah.
They would put on some cheaper stuff and then some more expensive things.
Yeah.
But then they kept saying like, "Oh, it's my buddy's bike." Actually, that's my buddy's
He's
bike.
gonna be so
He's
mad.
gonna be mad that you're taking it. And I'm like, yeah, man, like that's crazy. He's like, well, we should wait till he gets back. And I'm like, well, I got the serial number right here. Like, we can just make sure that it matches.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, okay, yeah. And then we
Oh
flip it
my
over
God.
and like, oh, isn't that funny?
It matches.
These are exactly the same 10 numbers. Wow. Isn't that
Who would
fun?
have thought?
When
Who
I
would've
do
thought?
when I go to the casino, I never get a match like this.
I wish
This is
I wish the
fucking
lottery was like
perfect.
this.
6GXOP9I 742.
What are the odds?
Wow.
What are the odds?
Maybe it is a different bike then. Bye. So then they were like, well, now they have like no fucking.
Yeah.
They're like, all right,
just
down
take
she
it.
goes. Because they're not like. That's the other thing about thieves too is like they can't just fight every week.
Yeah.
They're constantly stealing. So
Yeah.
they have to just be like, all right, we steal, we work on shit, we sell it, we ride it around. And if somebody comes and says, that's my fucking bike, you just give them the bike.
That's a loss for our
yeah,
business.
we just, okay, that is like McDonald's has to throw away
Yeah.
some McChickens every 10 minutes.
That's their business.
McDonald's has to grab 2 McChickens out of the heating area and throw them right in the garbage because the lettuce is all brown.
Every business has
You know?
losses. Every
I
business.
didn't do that, by the way. I would put in fresh lettuce. And then put that fucker right back where it belongs,
Oh, God.
in a customer's mouth.
Oh, you know what pisses me off when I get old nuggets?
Oh,
I always-
the old nugget.
I'm the bitch that I'm like, hi, can I have nuggets, but can you make them fresh? I will wait as long as it takes. I'll park. But I don't want your old fucking nuggets.
The one that drives me crazy as somebody who worked at McDonald's is when there's 9 fucking rocks
Yeah.
and 1 fresh one.
Right?
And you're like, are you on fucking crack
Yeah.
cocaine?
Yeah.
You just made a fresh batch to make the 10
Yeah.
and you didn't throw away these 9 fucking hour-old 9 nuggets?
Yeah.
You threw it in my fucking box at 2 in the morning?
Like,
What else are you doing, you cocksucker?
Have you ever had, I'm sure you have because you work there, but you know nuggets when they're literally like right out of the fucking fryer and you eat them, they are like
Yeah.
orgasmically
You can't
good.
even tell that there's a million chemicals in
They're
them.
so good. When they're super piping hot and they're like,
Yeah.
Adam once got them for me once and I just like, I had the best day ever after that. I was like,
Yeah.
when I get fresh nuggets, that's a game changer.
It's the only one you don't
When I
need-
get bad
you
nuggets,
don't-
it ruins my
I
day.
don't even need sauce.
No,
You
not
know?
if they're
I'm like,
super fresh.
So when I go to McDonald's,
Yeah.
they're like, what kind of sauce do you need? I'm like, well, if you make them right, none.
That's going to be my answer now. That's how you get,
Well, if they're fresh, I won't need anything to coat.
that's how
the
you get your
fucking-
nuggets spit on.
Yeah, you sick fuck. But if
I'm
it's-
always polite about it though. I'm like, I know this is probably annoying, but can I have fresh nuggets? It doesn't matter if it's extra time. I'm always polite about it.
if you want fresh
I'll
fries,
be
you
in the
just
car warming myself up.
Yeah.
yeah. If you want fresh fries, then you just pull the bitch move of
No
saying
salt.
half salt or
Or,
no
yeah,
salt or
yeah.
whatever, and then people are like, "Fuck!"
We
and
gotta
then they
do
have to
some
like
fresh
get rid of all
fries.
this. There's always like a. I don't know how everybody who ate at McDonald's in the 80s and 90s is still alive. It's like it's a testament to how robust the human body is.
Well, most
What a machine we're walking around
Well,
in.
but
That
look at-
people can just stuff that garbage in
if
their
you
mouth.
look at it, my mom's like parents. Well, my mom's mom she passed away young of cancer.
May
but
she
my-
rest.
May she rest. But her dad like was in his 80s, almost 90s. My grandma is like 93. My other grandpa, when he passed away, was like 80 something. And like, but now like my aunts and uncles are passing away, and they're in their late 60s, early 70s. Like, it is affecting us. My mom was 68 when she passed away. Like that, she should have lived for another 15 years
Yeah.
to torment
I mean,
me.
there is there is an interesting part to that where we look at when our grandparents died, like that's
Yeah.
when we'll die.
Yeah, but it's not.
You know, we're like, oh, 82 is the average.
Yeah.
Like that could never go down. Like it's inflation. It just goes up 2% every year.
Yeah.
Unless we all stuff ketchup in our mouths nonstop.
Yeah. And you would think that the age we with progress we'd be living longer, but it literally like so many boomers are like croaking pretty early. Like
Less labor.
I
yeah,
mean,
like
even look
there's-
at Andrew
there's-
Albert. He's so young.
Yeah, there's less,
Like it's crazy, and that's
less
happening a lot.
labor- Less labor required to survive.
Yeah.
You know, like we now are at a point where almost no labor is required to survive.
Yeah, like my
You can
grandparents
work at
worked
home, you can
in
order
farm
food in,
fields
you
and
could, like,
stuff. Yeah.
You know,
Like-
if you were, you know, if you lived in the 1940s or 50s, you had muscle memory of just movements that you had
Yeah.
to do. Like, I have to wash my own clothes
I have to
with this
walk
rack.
places.
Yeah, like I have to go do shit.
We
Like,
all
I have
don't
things
have a
I have
car.
to physically do.
Yeah.
I have to go get a movie.
We have
I
to
can't-
dance for entertainment. We don't
And
get
those-
to.
and-
Well, I
and
guess
it's-
we kind of do that with TikTok now.
And
right?
then we look at their life expectancy and go, that's what we can expect. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah,
No.
with a bunch of pills.
Yeah.
Like that. So that's how we get to
Yeah.
82. They get to 82 just like living like an old
Yeah.
fucking goddess and then having a heart attack and dying. We get to do it from 60 to 82. Like where's my blister pack?
Yeah.
Where's my 99
I'm already
pills?
on a million pills, and I'm not even in. It got in
But
my
we
40s.
just fucking sit around, don't move, and take
Yeah.
the pills to not die.
See, this is what I think though, because like, so our parents and then us, we were like, when we were raised, we were eating like chemicals and stuff, because that was the thing. And like, remember like the diet culture when they're like, oh, aspartame, it's great for you. So like we were ingesting all these chemicals. I think your kids are gonna be living longer because everyone's like, okay, now we got to start eating better. We got to start like doing this and that. Like it's people are
Climate
actually trying.
change.
Climate
What?
change.
What about? Who cares about
That'll-
climate
who
change? What does
cares
climate
about
change
climate
do?
change?
What does climate
Kill
change do?
future generations.
How is it
Yeah,
going to kill them?
maybe.
Well, I mean, but I'm not talking about climate. I'm talking about like physically. Like,
yeah.
if climate wasn't an issue, they're going to live longer than us.
I like to ignore all that. Like when I watch nature shows with my kids,
Yeah.
we watch 50 minutes and never the last 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you watch an hour nature documentary, the last 10 is going to be about, and this is the impact humans have had. The dreaded human
Yeah.
has destroyed the habitat. I'm like, fucking shut it off. Like I don't need, why can't I just watch it like fucking prey and predators run around and kill each other and lick their babies and then I'm done. I don't need to fucking have the end where like, and now there's nowhere for them to live. Like, well, what the fuck kind of Disney story is this? I hate this.
My cat caught a mouse last night. Maybe caught a mouse, and she was out front, and I heard like, "Rah, rah." I thought she was fighting with another cat, and I come out, and she's like got this mouse in her face, and she's like, "Look at me!" And then Adam came out, and it
and
was
he cooked it and he made it.
no, but Adam was like, it was like maybe got her period. He was like, I'm so proud of my little girl. He was so proud. She got a mouse. Like he was going crazy about it, and I was just like,
Yeah.
can we like let it go now?
I'd need to see that the mouse's report cards. You know what I mean? Like a lot of like, I'll have a cat that catches a mouse, and I'm like, well, that could have been an adult,
dumbest mouse ever.
adult smart mouse.
Yeah.
And then other cats catch a mouse, and they're like, well, how did this happen? It just jumped in my mouth.
I
I
didn't
was
even
trying to
want.
drink water. And this fucking thing, like maybe it was a suicidal mouse. It was like a suicide.
This
know?
mouse was not suicidal because like
No?
she kept playing with it, and I was like, well, can we like let it go? And Adam's like, she's probably mortally wounded it. And then like 20 minutes later, she's still playing, and you could still hear it going, ee, ee. And I'm like, I don't think he's wounded enough to die. Like I think she's just torturing him. So I made Adam go pick her up, and as soon as Adam went over to pick her up, the mouse kind of ran towards Adam like, save me, human. Like he was like willing to go to the gigantic human to try and be saved.
Last resort.
And then he ran off into the bushes and
And I'm
Yeah.
sure he's fine now.
I hope.
I'm
I
sure
was
he's
gonna
made
get
it
Adam
okay.
to go and look in the front bushes to see if there was a dead mouse in there, but that I don't need to know the truth.
No, yeah, you're right. Our kids probably will grow up, and you have to teach them about mortality early because,
Yeah.
like, if you just wait and don't say anything, and then you're like, your grandma's dead, then your kids will just be like, well, then plug them in and recharge them.
Yeah.
Like, they live in a world where, like, everything that's dead can be reborn with
Absolutely.
just plug-ins,
Just get grandma's charger.
Because when we were kids, like, if your fridge died, it was dead.
Yeah.
There's nothing, nobody's doing anything
And
to that
fridges
fridge.
lasted forever. I remember our family oven my mom bought when I was born for $50, and it was used then, and it lasted until I was like 15. Like,
Our
that does
furnace,
not
yeah.
happen anymore.
Our furnace that we just replaced this year was there from, they were like, well, you can't find parts for this. This is from 1976. And I'm like, what? And they're like, the efficiency on this is about 8%.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, probably gas just fucking oozing everywhere in our home.
Oh my God.
So yeah, they were like, yeah, the efficiency on this is like, you might as well throw coal in this fucker and light a fire. Like, this thing
Was it like the furnace from Home Alone, that big old
It was,
scary
yeah,
thing?
big green, and like, yeah, it was nuts. So we got rid of it, and we're like, wow, that's how big furnaces are supposed to be. Because it was like fucking 5 times. It was like a supercomputer. A giant 1980s supercomputer.
And now is your house heat better?
I haven't really noticed.
You
We have a humidifier. We never had one before.
Oh, it makes
So-
it humid in there?
Yeah, puts a little water in there.
Gives you a little spritz.
little spritz for you, just to get your insulation wet. Get those ants in. No, but yeah. So I don't know. That's where we're at.
That's where we're at.
So where did you do this week? You went to
Prince George and Smithers. Smithers was really cute, but it's like so far away. But it was like under this mountain. It's like Kimberly. It's kind of like Germany themed little downtown. Yeah. And the brewery we went to was so like really good and really fun. And
was it like a Nazi thing? Because you said German theme, so
well, like
Smithers is like this little fucking tiny
maybe.
oasis.
I didn't get a Nazi feel from it, but I'm not always feeling that, so I don't know what a Nazi feels like.
And the only reason I say that is because whenever it's weird how like whenever I think of Nazis, I think of the mountains for some reason, just because of Hitler's like weird getaway. That
his little like.
Yeah, so they always had that sort of like the eagle's nest where he's there like, hello, look at me. One day I'll be in a bunker taking a pill. But for right now, look at these gorgeous mountains that I own. I'm surprised he never carved his face into anything.
Like a Mount Rushmore of Hitler?
Yeah, just 4 Hitlers.
4 Hitlers in the mountains?
4 Hitlers.
Yeah, why wouldn't, like, I guess he wasn't that much of an egomaniac.
Yeah, he was,
That's a big egomaniac to be like, put my head in that mountain 4 times.
Ugh.
That's
God.
crazy.
Yeah, he did a lot. Yeah, he was weird.
Yeah, he was
We
weird.
haven't talked about Hitler in a while.
I know, it's
We took a
weird.
good Hitler break.
We had a little break.
It's been about an hour, so.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Has it been an hour?
It has been.
Wow.
Oh, good, yeah.
We
See,
have a
that's
scratchy.
Jim, that's what Jim is here for.
There's a scratchy
To be
over
like,
there.
well, to do everything, and also to be like, okay, you guys have been fucking talking way too long.
Where's the scratchy?
Where is that scratchy?
I had it here. Is it your phone under it? Under your phone? Yeah. There.
Oh, it is under my
You
damn
get to
phone.
scratch it.
Oh, I get to scratch it with my loony?
For sure, it's a nothing one, but whatever.
They're always a little.
Do you have any? Yeah, of course it's not the right attitude. I've had the right attitude this whole time, and we haven't won anything. So fuck my attitude. 80 episodes. Do you have any shows this weekend, Sean?
I'm at the Calgary Yuck Yucks.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. That'll be all right. So how do we know if we won?
Here, I'll scan it with my phone.
Okay.
I'm at the Edmonton
When the
Yuck
past
Yucks.
meets the future.
We're in
You're at the
dual
Edmonton
cities.
Yuck Yucks.
Yeah, I'm hosting.
You should have been promoting that the whole fucking time. You're at a casino in Edmonton.
I'm just hosting.
Yeah, but there's no such thing as just hosting.
Oh, yes, there is.
You could easily be the most memorable on that show.
I guess so. I guess I shouldn't have a negative attitude.
There could be girls that come up to you afterwards and be like, normally I don't like MCs, but you were good.
But you were actually good.
Normally I don't listen to MCs, but you're actually good. Whenever I'm emceeing, I tell people that, whenever I'm emceeing, I tell people that I work at the radio station. Like, I try to pretend
That's
that
a good
I'm at the radio
idea.
station. Like, hey, it's everybody. It's Sean LaComber here from K-Rock. And then they're like, wow, K-Rock?
That's hilarious. And then
This guy
they
must do
probably
the
like you
overnights.
more.
Yeah, they're like, wow, this guy's pretty funny for a DJ.
That's like when, remember when Fearless Fred was trying to do comedy and he started doing it? But that's how I first met him. And he will honestly be like, yeah, they used to offer me weekends and I hadn't even done it, but they just wanted me to come down
Absolutely,
because he would advertise the show, like, and
Yeah.
he's like, but then I did it a couple times. I'm like, I'm terrible at this, because he's like, he's said before, like we said this before too. It's like when you're on the radio, you could just be saying whatever you want and just assuming everybody's laughing. You have no idea if they are, but you're just like, what? I have lots of people listen, so they probably think I'm hilarious. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's like a
Well,
probably
and you get 10 people a minute saying that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So you're not.
yeah. So it's probably like odd for like a radio person to come in and do a show, and then they don't get all these immediate laughs, and they're like, wait a second.
Just like if we went into radio and we're like, I bet people are gonna laugh just like they do at my live
Yeah.
show, and then you get texts like, what's wrong with her voice? Why don't you bring Glenda back?
That's why I've always loved the
Like, what the
corporate
fuck?
challenge thing that Edmonton Comedy Fest does. I think that's a really good show where they get like people from the media to do a stand-up set, and then one of them wins. Because I've helped, I've got friends in the media that will message me, I'm in this, I need your help.
I would
That's all
rather
I
see a
can
comedian
suggest.
try to do a radio show.
Yeah.
Where like two comedians are like, oh, this is easy. We're in the Ched studios, and then you just see like, all right, let's check our Twitter feed. Like, oh my
They hate
heavens!
us. They hate
Wow,
us.
do they hate us? Bring her back. Where's Lisa? Please tell me these clowns won't be on tomorrow. What's wrong with his voice? Why does he sound stupid?
I've
And then
always-
you're like trying
yeah.
to change your voice and your attitude like live on the show. Like,
I
it's
think
me.
that Lori Gibbs really turned me off radio, because she was like, yeah, it's weird because like you could be like the coolest person ever and you think that people like you, and then all of a sudden just people will just not like you. Not even for a specific reason. They'll be like, she sucks. And just like the comments that you have to read about yourself, and like, you don't even know me. I'm like,
Yeah.
I do the weather on this fucking radio show. Like, God damn it.
They always want some dummy back.
Yeah.
Right? There's always a campaign to bring back the person you replaced.
Who campaigns to bring back a radio
Bring
DJ?
back the other weather guy.
What kind of fucking life do
This
you
chick
have?
always does it in Fahrenheit.
I think that Jim just smells Adam's food, and he's like, can we wrap it up, please?
Let's wrap it up. 'Cause
I'm
last
hungry.
week it was fucking good. I
It
think it
was.
was. I don't even know what it was. It might have
did we
been
have last
frog,
week?
but it really.
Oh, yeah, he made those.
Spring rolls with like
with
chicken,
buffalo chicken
buffalo
inside.
chicken. Wow, buffalo chicken spring rolls.
Yeah, he's
Yikes.
doing the food for our wedding, so I'm just like, well, I'm gonna have to have a taster. I'm gonna have to
Right.
taste what you're planning on doing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make him do that this week.
And he said, "Sorry, we don't make different types of tacos.
No mixing and matching.
No mix and match.
Just like our marriage, no mixing and
No
matching.
mixing and matching." Well, thanks for listening to episode 107. Our listenership is down.
2%.
Jim was saying, yeah, we're
Is it down?
We're down about 25
Tell the
people per
truth.
podcast.
It's like 175.
175, and it used to be 200. So we've lost 25 people.
What do we do? It was all the Holocaust stuff.
It was.
Now-
You're right. You're right.
It was right when the Holocaust stuff started happening.
Probably you're right. We were up to 200, and then
Yeah.
Sean started to like get all free and loose, like, oh, look at wine, Sean, drinking his wine and talking about the Holocaust. Don't get Sean on his red wine Holocaust rants. You're right. That's
Red
when we
wine
lost
Holocaust rants. That's where we lost it. Well, we'll keep
it. Oh,
trying
well,
to get
we'll
it
keep
back.
plugging away.
Yeah, why not?
All right.
Okay.
See ya.
Bye.